graze. I'm Kylie. I am the farmer here at Dragonfly Station, which is our small farm located in Central Oregon. We are a Zone 3 garden, which means it gets down pretty cold here with a frost risk all year round. And that can kind of make growing things outside with no cover a bit challenging if you let it. But I wanted to talk to you about that today, and I wanted to talk to you about that there's so many varieties and so many vegetables that we can still grow, and flowers, that don't require cover and that you don't need a greenhouse to grow in. So come on into this video and let's get started and let's chat about it. Grab a cup of tea, coffee, hot cocoa, whatever you'd like, and let's talk. All right, so I have one of my seed bins here. I also use those photo organizers. You'll see them in the videos to come, but I do enjoy those, but for bigger, bulkier seeds, I like to use one of these. I could use one or two more of these to actually hold what I need it to hold, but this works perfectly for now. All right, I have two seed catalogs in front of me, and these two companies are where I basically ordered all my seeds from this year. Now, with exception to going to the store, like if you're in the Pacific Northwest, a Bi-Mart, or if you're anywhere in the world, a Walmart or a Target, they have seeds. And the brand that Bi-Mart carries, and I believe Walmart does too, well, Burpee or Barry Morris, those are great seeds. They have great germination. I have just chosen to order bulk seeds, and also I really like heirloom. Not to say you can't find heirloom seeds at a grocery store, because you certainly can. Just, I like a little more variety, especially with where we live. We can't grow all the things, but we can grow all the varieties of all the things that we can grow. And that's what I love. Now, one thing I will warn you about with seed catalogs is you can get carried away. Baker Creek, in fact, is one of my favorite places to order smaller orders from. And this is their free catalog, but they also have one that you can buy, which I typically do, but it's dangerous. I have no seed buying control. When you read all the stories of how these seeds were saved over generations and generations, at least I do, and I think it's the same for a lot of gardeners, it just makes you buy more. So I did not purchase a seed catalog, so that way I wouldn't buy it anymore. But I did get the free one, and Johnny's as well, and I haven't actually looked through them. But I probably will, maybe not, to save myself a few bucks. It said last year, and I took notes of what I needed to order, and I went through my seed collection and figured it out and made a list and stuck to my list. That's a really good tip. Stick to your list so you don't overspend, because it can get expensive. We are market gardeners, so a lot of the things we buy are going towards restaurants, and this year we kind of just bought by the seat of our pants. But this year I actually had a strategy, and I met with restaurants and came up with a list and varieties of what kind of produce that they will sell and use. So that way it's a guaranteed sell. And that's what I based a lot of my seed orders off of. So Johnny Select Seeds, I am gonna highly recommend this if you want seeds or vegetables and you need a big bulk thing. We're a family of 5, so we need a bunch of carrots, and I'll show you my carrots in a bit. So we order our carrots bulk from Johnny's. If you're only wanting a seed packet, Johnny's is, I'm not gonna recommend Johnny's. They're way overpriced for the amount of seed you get. It's great quality, like this says. There's free shipping, but you had to spend $200 or more. We blew that out of the water this year with our market garden order. But a home gardener might want to disperse it from different companies to get different varieties. At least that's what I wanted to do. So I don't recommend them for single packet seeds, but I do recommend Baker Creek, like I said. And also, my gardener, he's a YouTuber and he has amazing seeds, and every year I've bought from him, they've done great on germination. I haven't put in my order with him yet this year. It's a great company. Also, Botanical Interests, I do like them. I can also pick those up in town at different stores. Oh, Seed Savers. So those are the ones I really like to stick to. But I can't help myself every time I go into Walmart or Bi-Mart or anything and I end up picking up a pack of seeds or 10. That's the reality of it. But I wanted to talk about different things that we can grow. And if you're watching this and you're in the southern climate, you're gearing up. And if you're starting seeds, you're gearing up in the southern climates. Here we still have a while. Our ground doesn't unthaw until the end of April, and it's January 4th. So we have quite a ways to go. This year, for all of my cold hardy crops, which is where we grow with with a frost risk all year round is what I grow spring, summer, and fall. Summer can get a little dicey because we still are in the high desert and it gets up into the upper 90s and drop to freezing at night. So it can kind of get a wee bit hard to grow, but it's very doable, and I've done it for a few years perfectly well. Well, obviously not perfectly, but I have done it really well with just no greenhouse or anything. I do have a greenhouse now, but that, you don't need one at all. Okay. Spring crops, which I plant all year, like I've talked about. I have started them in my greenhouse last year, and I didn't love that. I did not like that at all. I like to direct sow, which means putting seeds directly into the ground. And how we build our beds is just cardboard on top of our native soil and pile a good 4 to 6 inches of compost on top and plant directly in the compost. The cardboard, by the time your taproot of your carrot gets long enough, is dissolved, and it's great. It's super simple. We don't till, we don't do any of that, and it's been a beautiful process for our farm. Some of the vegetables that we can grow here, I'm actually going to compile a list of all the ones and put it in the description, so you can click on that. But I'll give you a few examples of what we can grow outside with no cover. Like I said, if you're in southern climates, this is what you're going to be starting in this spring. All the greens, lettuces, kale, Swiss chard, spinaches, mustard greens, arugula, all those things you can grow without a cover this spring, especially here in Central Oregon. Along with carrots and peas and cabbages, beets, kohlrabi, bok choy, onions, leeks, all the things. So I will, like I said, I'll do a complete list down in the description so I don't have to list them all out for you. But all those things we can grow without cover. And my ground unthaws around the last 2 weeks of April. And I have one garden that's in full sun, and it did unthaw sooner, but the soil temperature wasn't up to where it should have been, and it ended up stunting my crops. And the garden that I have 2 gardens, a 900 square foot garden that's mainly shady, and I have a full sun garden, and I thought for sure with the full sun it would be great, but it wasn't. So I have found when the shade garden is completely unthawed and ready to plant, it's go time for the whole farm, and we bust it out. That's the plan this year. And besides onions, which I did make a video about how I do my onions, and I will always do that. I'll link that also. I'm linking all sorts of things, but they don't need to be. I've had onions have good success, but they're just smaller. You just have to be prepared for that. You have your cold crops. There's so many varieties though. Baker Creek, let me see if I can find them. For carrots alone, it's so amazing. The variety of carrots that they have is ridiculous. And there's so many colors, and they're vibrant. I grew black carrots. They're like a dark purple. Black, purple, white, yellow, and regular orange I've grown. They do have red. I haven't grown red. I'd love to. And then there's sweet carrots and normal carrots that you have. There's storage carrots. So that's what I primarily focus on for my family. For homesteading, I primarily focus on storage varieties of cabbage, carrots, beets, onions, leeks. They all have varieties that do better stored well. And those are the ones I tend to buy for myself. As far as growing for fresh eating, I also buy different varieties for that too, because you can get different flavors, like sweeter ones. Or here are some of their, look at this red carrot, isn't that gorgeous? And look at these super long carrots. There's so many varieties of things you can try out. Like, that's a small child. Look at how tall they are on her. And that's just one page. These are all carrot varieties. And they do give you an excerpt of all of them. There's different shades of purple, there's different shades of red, there's different shades of orange, yellow, all the things. And that's what I find amazing. We may be limited and we might not be able to grow all the fancy heirloom tomatoes and spicy hot peppers, but we can grow all the things outside. And I highly recommend doing so and getting your hands in the dirt and knees on the ground and digging into that soil and learning how to be a gardener before you build that greenhouse if you've never grown before. Because there's so much you can do without hardly spending any money. Now, we do have a lot of deer, and if you have a lot of deer or rabbits in your area, you will need to put up a fence, because the deer, they will eat it. I've seen many people who think, oh, that won't happen to me. We've made it this long, and garden matures and then they get wiped out by deer. So I wouldn't want that happening to you. So my advice is just to plant what you can You don't need to spend money on frost cover or anything. Just do it when it's right, and when we get frost throughout the summers, these are all frost hardy. They can live through it, no problem. I want to show you these carrots just because this is my favorite. I know, this is from Johnny's Seeds, so this is when it becomes worth it to buy from Johnny's. This is 10,000 pelleted carrot seeds, and when I say it's pelleted, they have a clay coating, so they do take longer to germinate, so don't be afraid when they don't start popping up. They will. And they're these little white, they're the little tiny carrot seeds. Carrots need a lot of space to grow, and I do not have the patience to thin them. So getting pelleted seed, it makes it easier to individually place them. Or if you are a market gardener, I don't have the fancy seeder, but I do have an earthway seeder, and it makes it super easy to pop these in and get them planted. This is 10,000 seeds. So this is perfect for a family that wants to store up carrots. And these are a Bolero variety. So these will store upwards of, I think, 6 to 9 months for sure, and possibly up to a year. We didn't grow enough to store, but next year, you better believe it. But we also have some fresh eating varieties, some also that are just perfect right out of the ground that will store decently well too, just they're not meant for storage. Johnny's has a lot of hybrids that are bred. They're not GMO. It's illegal to sell GMO seeds to a home gardener or even to a market gardener like myself. They have hybrids, which means they are bred for heat tolerance or cold tolerance or disease resistant. That's the beauty of a hybrid. They're bred to do those special jobs. Now Johnny's, you can pay for shipping. It's not that big of a deal. And a little tip, if you get your cart ready on Johnny's and then come back to it, which I recommend anyway, that way you can get rid of impulse buys when you come back for it. They'll send you a 5% off coupon in your email if you have an account with them already. So that's my little tip. Every year I get this. This year I had over a $600 order, and I was able to apply that 5%. $600 was my budget, so adding the 5% coupon, I was able to get a few more urge items that I wasn't going to be able to get without the coupon, so that worked out in my seed compulsion buying favor. I also just want to encourage you that if you're a new gardener, I think that's amazing, and you can grow in any crazy climate, and you can do it on a budget, and you can do it with a lot of beauty and variety still. You don't have to be limited by different things. The most expensive thing you're going to have to do is the fence, and even that, there's so many ways that you can make it more affordable. I hope this was helpful to you guys. I'm trying to get these videos out to you in a timely manner. If you're in a warmer climate, you're just going to be starting your spring garden extremely fast. And if you're in our climate, because I know there's a lot of locals that have found me through however, and they have a lot of questions of when they should plant or what I'm planting because they're just curious. So I hope this comes to you and it encourages you, and there'll be many more. I'm hoping to get my Johnny's order and show you what I got in there, because I got some really cool stuff for our cut flower garden. And all right guys, I better quit yakking and let you go. So thanks for following along guys. I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye guys.